Right, and now we move on to the best part. Actually, when finally everything started to make sense. So I was looking at this, and I was looking. It's a bad comedy. You know, it just felt not really serious, and I felt that Danya doesn't have to do all of this, right? And I would have probably sent some very strong words already before, but yeah, he's really resilient and he can endure incoming punches. But now let me show you the critical moment. Now comes the big moment.
Ты говоришь, что я делаю буллинг, и это плохо, подписывается какое-то письмо чуть ли не там против меня, а то, что Накамура грязнейшими словами меня оскорбляет, ни ты, ни один из этих подписантов никогда ничего не сказал на эту тему.
Oh, and there comes the big part. By the way, this made a major shift in the direction. Suddenly, Vladimir says that Hikaru Nakamura was talking a lot of very bad things about Vladimir in the past year. Chess.com was talking a lot of bad things about Vladimir in the past year. And not you, Danya, or any other Grandmaster stepped up to support me against this. Now this is going to be really important because now let's just listen.
Просто Камури, причем здесь Даня, Володь?
So again, here Levitov asks a very legit question. This is Nakamura. Why are we talking about Danya here? Well, clearly, if he has problems with Nakamura, why don't you address these concerns towards Nakamura, right? No? So if Nakamura treats you badly, so you address these issues with Nakamura straight, right? No? I'm wrong?
Нет, вопрос к тому, что если один человек принимает, что шахматист может оскорблять матом другого шахматиста и ничего об этом не говорит, тогда, пожалуйста...
Он не обязан ничего говорить.
Он не обязан ничего говорить. Да, но тогда не надо ничего говорить и про мои.
So clearly what Kramnik here is saying is that he's offended. And I get it. I totally get him. Because he got quite a lot of negativity in the past year because of his fight against cheaters. But what unfortunately he is not questioning is those methods. How is he doing this, right? And for some reason he doesn't feel to talk about that maybe the people that he is accusing, that they are feeling harassed, right? And that's why obviously he's getting this very negative backlash. Again, I wouldn't really ever go to try to make it personal. I would never call somebody names, but at least you can understand where this is coming from. And this is essentially one of the key moments here because Kramnik is very unhappy how he has been treated by Nakamura, by Chess.com. And again, he says that Danya, don't be now angry with me because if you treat me like this, I'm going to treat you exactly like that. But again, this raises the question, what is the real motive of this entire investigation? So what is it? What is it? Is it really Danya's suspicion? Or is it this his history with Hikaru Nakamura on chess.com?
Ну, он же не знает.
То вы точно так же тогда не извинились.
Володь, разбирайся, пожалуйста, с Накамурой. Причем здесь Даня?
Нет, я просто говорю о двойном стандарте. Нет, я не...
Никакого двойного стандарта. Но он не ответственен, а завтра какой-нибудь...
Yeah, by the way, asking a question, Jack alone, what is the real motive of my emotion-loaded stream? If you don't like it, you don't watch it. It's really so simple. It's just free world. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I think that Danya is unfairly attacked. I have said it several times. I think the kind of things that Kramnik is doing, it's unacceptable. I'm totally all for his fight against cheaters. I think it's a noble initiative, but I do not support the methods That's it. So I think that Danya deserves better. And that's why the emotion's here. You don't like it, you don't watch it. All right. Where was this? And then we go to the next moment. Yeah, they go back to the speedrun. Okay.
Тебя не красят. То, что ты включил там где-то движок на спидране, что-то еще, эта история, ну, я бы сказал, что она некрасиво выглядит. В самой этой истории ничего такого нет. Если это какой-то у тебя, скажем так, паттерн поведения, что у тебя где-то ты включаешь все время движок, это не очень хорошо, но мы это не знаем, поэтому как бы какие-то взгляды, я посмотрел видео Володи на эту тему, какие-то взгляды действительно у тебя куда-то все время идут, но куда они идут, я это обсуждать...
Можно я перебью?
Нет, не надо меня перебивать. Куда-то идут, это дело такое. Я просто вас призываю к тому, что мы, как Володя в моем эфире однажды сказал, мне эти слова очень запомнились. Мы с вами живем.
Yeah, so once again they're talking about the speedrun, that all of this should not be done, etc. I think at some point there was discussion about breaking the rules, and this is what Kramnik brings up. He says that chess.com treats punishments not in the same manner, again, I mean the same amount of, what do you say, the same crime is punished differently. Like he says, I played a game from Hismatulin's account, I believe the account's name was Krakosia, and I got banned. I don't know really for how long. And then he says that Danya was very quickly pardoned. This is also one of the arguments. Then we have some swearing. Maybe we can skip that part. It's about 1 hour and 47 minutes in. Some swearing in the Russian language. And now we come to the next moment.
Еще раз говорю, десятилетие. И если он говорит, что ему не похуй, значит ему не похуй.
Yeah, there you heard it. I'm not going to translate it.
Нет,
Поэтому...
я здесь. Сейчас. Я хочу добавить свое. Скажу, что я знаю, я понимаю, что я
Listen to this.
перегибаю пал. Я понимаю, что я где-то перебарщиваю. Да, безусловно, я
Overbanned, it's wrong translation. The correct translation would be I am overreacting.
слишком жесток. Да, безусловно, я понимаю, что я где-то чувства задеваю людей, и я это отлично понимаю. И я бы даже за это извинился бы.
So he says, I would even apologize about this.
Да?
Ну,
если бы не одно но.
Ну.
Это то, что меня поливает грязью Chess.com и Накамуры и прочая компания.
And here we go again. I would apologize if, but chess.com and Nakamura says about me a lot of mean things.
Уже год. И никто, ни ты, Даня, никто ни слова не сказал в мою защиту. Ни слова.
And nobody said any word of support towards me.
Слова не сказал, ребята, что вы делаете? Вы оскорбляете постоянно, Готэм, постоянно грязь, шизофрения.
I believe there was a mention of the Gotham chess.
Параноик. И ты, Даня, молчишь. Молчишь ты, Даня, как и все остальные. И вот после этого...
You know, I'm listening to this, I don't understand, right? From the very beginning. So, he has a noble cause. I support him, right? I believe that cheating definitely is a big problem in the world, in the chess world. I totally get it, and I think as an idea, it's a noble cause. But when you start going, he thinks he has statistics, but when you start to go randomly at some people and not accuse them of being cheating, and when you are getting back a backlash what do you expect? Right? So I think it's some kind of a circle. So he starts this entire campaign. He names people. Like, okay, he says he doesn't name. He gets a lot of negative backlash. Hikaru does a callback, and he says a lot of very concrete things. I'm not going to repeat that. You already know what he said. And clearly, Kramnik is offended by this. And he says, you put my name in the mud, etc., etc., etc. But how it all started, why? And you know, that's one of the things about any conflict. And I think that probably all of you, you're going to agree. Whenever there is a prolonged conflict, nobody even remembers how it started, right? So there's always new arguments coming in. Always new arguments, always something. And nobody already remembers how it all started. Just a second. Yeah, maybe I just played out.
Не молчу.
Пожалуйста, не рассчитывайте на то, что я буду очень ваши чувства жалеть. Нет, я буду говорить жестко, потому что за последний год то, что та компания, которая против меня идет, твоего Накамуры, твоего Ческома, я условно в кавычках...
Мой Накамура, окей.
Ну, условно.
Okay.
Ну ты его видео уже, наверное, да, смотрел? Ты с ним, как бы, да, в одной компании. Ческом, ты работаешь там. И вот ты ни слова не сказал. И после этого, ребята шахматисты, получите то, что вы заслужили. Не буду я, знаете, относиться, а вот может быть Даня что-то не то подумает, а вот Накамура, может он обидится. Да и обижайтесь, ребята.
I mean, essentially what he's saying is that you get what you deserved. So if you're talking bad things about me, then obviously this is coming back. But again, the question is, you know, dear viewers, you're probably wondering, what does it have to do with Danya? Why we are having an interview talking about Danya's cheating when one of the most topics that keeps coming back is Hikaru? And so on, it continues. And then we go back to the moment when Danya talks about how he feels about this entire thing. So, let's listen.
Я буду очень деликатен с каждым человеком, который просто...
Хорошо, Володь, я понял. Мысль понятна. Даня, скажи, пожалуйста. Да, давайте послушаем Даню.
By the way, one thing I also quite did not like. I mean, you can watch the interview from the beginning until then. What I really don't like is that Danya was often stopped. He can't finish the sentence. There's always somebody who is stopping his thought, right? In the Russian language, wait a second, how do I say what's the proper expression for that? I mean, there's so many moments when Danya starts to explain something, and there's an intervention. They don't allow him to complete. By the way, if you watch it, Danya did not interrupt when Kramnik or Levitov are saying something.
Что вообще, какие мои здесь интересы? Ну, во-первых, это не совсем так, что типа я молчал. Я всегда старался проявлять даже в моменты, где я чувствовал какую-то злость, все-таки уважение, и которое, естественно, оно у меня есть. Не потому что я должен его проявлять, потому что оно реально у меня всегда существовало. И я принимаю вашу точку зрения, хотя мы никогда даже близко не согласимся с хронологией. Мне кажется, что вы не смотрите на реальность моими глазами, Владимир Борисович. Но...
Again, like I already said, I don't understand how Danya does this. Danya is way too nice. Yeah, he says, I accept your points of opinion. I would have said something harsher.
Но да, мне кажется, что сейчас это не важно. Мне кажется, что я хочу. Я готов как бы, не знаю, принимать участие в... Мне не похуй, как вы говорите. Вы считаете, что всем похуй. Мне абсолютно не похуй на читеров, потому что я, во-первых, им не являюсь. И, может быть, уже заодно стоило выиграть пару титульных вторник. Нет, шучу. Я просто хочу, вот, чтобы вы как бы оставили... Я просто хочу играть в Блиц, сделать свой спидран, комментировать свои дурацкие турниры, и все. То есть мне...
So basically what he said, just leave me alone.
Реально это сделало серьезный ущерб. Ну, репутацию давай оставим в стороне. Вы чемпион мира.
Да.
И когда чемпион мира меня атакует, давайте абстрагируем от всего происходящего контекста. Мне это сделало очень сильный физический и эмоциональный ущерб. И я хочу, чтобы это остановилось.
So Danya says he was experiencing pretty huge emotional and physical damage. Okay, I don't really know what kind of physical damage there is, but emotional, yeah, that's definitely a huge thing.
Вот сегодня. И
давай ответь на вопросы четко и ясно.
Какие?
И все это
Right, yeah. He talked about that he could not sleep for about a week. Yeah, and you know, and then somebody comes in and says, "Oh, look at Danya's rating. You know, ever since the investigation, he dropped like 200 points. He used to be 3,100. Now he's like 2,900. I mean, really? I mean, can you even play normal chess under this atmosphere?"
Да я все задал.
Только не начинайте заново, пожалуйста.
Нет, я просто говорю, что... Да, но
не будет но. Да, просто.
Нет, просто нужно давай вместе с тобой проведем там стримы, где конкретно я задам вопрос, ты конкретно...
And here we go again. So Kramnik is asking, let's organize a special stream. I'm going to ask you special questions. I'm going to specially check something. I'm not sure what they were doing for this entire interview. What kind of extra questions that are going to be there?
Ответишь, и все, на этом закончится. Этого же нет. Да, этого уже нет. То есть ты... Поэтому я не хочу...
например, меня больше всего интересует. Кстати, Даня, вот это на самом деле очень серьезный вопрос. Я считаю, что у нас в шахматном мире...
Oh yeah, now they're talking about... By the way, this is something I quite did not even understand what it has even anything to do with Danya farming Charlotte Blitz tournament. What does it have to do with anything? But okay, fine, it's brought up, and Levitov said this is like a very important point that Danya is farming points. Okay, let's listen.
Есть большая проблема, что у нас говорят, ну ладно, это окей. Вот ты, вот турниры в Шарлотте, меня вот это вот убило. Вот эти партии, ну фармеры, ты фармишь рейтинг в Шарлотте, играя 8 партий с бортником в ничью, полурасписных.
The beekeeper is Bortnik, Alexander Bortnik. I mean, okay, this is a pretty terrible translation.
Они по сути свои расписные. Ну а что ну? Да это не ну, блин, это херово, Даня, не делай так. Об этом же говорит Крамник.
So, in a very strong Russian language, Levitov says, do not do this. This is unacceptable. You can't do this. You can't farm players in Charlotte tournaments.
На самом деле, я говорю, он перебарщивает.
Ну, ты на меня кричишь, Илья? Я не знаю.
Я на тебя не кричу.
Ну, окей.
Yeah, Danya says, don't shout at me.
Окей.
Извини.
Что как бы ты от меня ожидаешь? Отрицание, то есть я не собираюсь все отрицать. То есть ты уже ожидаешь, что я все сейчас буду отрицать. То есть что от меня ожидается? То есть это вопрос ко мне или это предъявление претензий?
Ты фармишь, хорошо, ты фармишь рейтинг в Шарлотте?
Определи фарми. Что такое?
Okay, now the question is, are you farming points in Charlotte? Danya says, please formulate what is farming.
Фарминг.
Ты играешь с очевидно заведомо слабыми соперниками, пользуясь правилом 400 очков, по которому...
Нет, отрицается, и это легко доказано.
Yeah, by the way, this is something that Danya, I think, already brought up in one of his previous videos, maybe on stream. I don't remember I saw it. Maybe on his YouTube channel, maybe on his stream. Is that he says that he is constantly playing in the same tournaments over and over in Charlotte. right? If there's a great tournament in Charlotte, he's playing in this tournament in Charlotte. And I quite do not even understand what he has to do with this entire thing, right? He's playing in local tournaments in Charlotte. He is gaining points. He's winning a lot of points, and now he is rated 2700. So what does it even have to do with this accusation? I quite don't understand. Do you understand? Maybe I don't understand. But fine whatever. So this was a big part of the discussion as well.
Оказывается. Посмотри мою турнирную историю, посмотри мою американскую турнирную историю.
Ты договорился с Бортником, что вы сыграете в ничью эти партии?
Нет.
Yeah, now they're talking about some of his games against Alexander Bortnik. He is a colleague at Charlotte Chess Center, that they're making a lot of draws with each other, etc. No beekeeper, no. It's Alexander Bortnik. How far are we at? Just a sec, let me see. Okay, let's move on. By the way, I think that this is something that Danya already said more than once, so there's no need to play it. Let me just move on. And we are getting closer to the finish.
Поэтому мне пришлось встать на этот путь, который мне не нравится. Я не хочу этого. Я не хочу публичных объяснений. Но у меня нет выбора просто.
Yeah. So Vladimir says that he has no choice. He has no choice to do all of this. But I mean, he has to do this.
Ну, как бы, если я хочу за это бороться. Поэтому я готов, как бы, извиниться, если что-то там я делал не так, да.
So Vladimir is ready to apologize in case he didn't do something correctly.
То есть я как бы, у меня нет никакого, тут не надо, Даня, обязательно не думай о том, что я хочу тебе навредить, не хочу я тебе навредить.
So he says, no personal feelings, I don't want to harm you personally. So...
Я хочу разобраться, как бы так получилось, что это был бы кто-то другой, У меня нет никакой личной, так сказать, идеи навредить, нету этого. Это все
Я принимаю, но вы можете понять, как, поставив себя на мое место, можно было разумно, так, как это был один из сценариев, который мне пришел в голову.
Я пытался, но у меня не получилось, потому что...
And finally, one of the final moments, I believe it was about here.
Все-таки 6, шучу, 2.
Да, но я единственное маленькое добавлю, что, во-первых, тут с чем не соглашусь. Нет, правда важнее всего, важнее единство. И я не согласен, что нам нужно единство какое-то. У нас слишком много единства. У нас Chess.com, который, по сути, заправляет шахматным миром. Вот это.
Okay, so now there's a mention of chess.com that Vladimir says has a complete monopoly of chess.
Единство, и это абсолютно не то единство,
мне кажется,
которое нужно шахматному миру. А нужно единство шахматистов, может быть, там FIDE, но уж точно не Chess.com, который, по сути, приватизирует шахматный мир.
So chess.com is privatizing chess. There's a mention of FIDE. Things need to be better.
Я извиняюсь за правду. И устанавливает свои законы, кто-то банен, кто-то не банен, кому-то достаточно извинений, кому-то...
Okay, so again, there's this discussion about punishment is not equal. Like, again, he brings up this example that he was banned for playing from the account of Denis Kismatulin, while Danya had switched on an engine during... when he was winning in his speedrun game, and he said you should also receive a ban for that. Oh, by the way, but I forgot there was this crazy moment I wanted to show. By the way, this was a huge moment of the interview. Where was this? Just a second. I mean, I kept so many notes. I think it was about here. Let me go back a bit. I apologize. Listen, it's so difficult to keep track of this interview. So many things were said. He talks about the match with Topalov. He brought up the old incident, one of the very first cheating scandals that Kramnik was accused. So you might already not remember, but this was the year 2005 or 2006, when he was accused by, again, if I'm not terribly mistaken, by Silvio Donailov in the World Championships against Veselin Topalov, that Kramnik is cheating. So this was the so-called toilet gate back in 2005, and Levitov asked Kramnik a very straight question: how do you feel back then when you were like directly attacked by the opposing team? How do you feel about that? I mean, Kramnik said, yeah, but obviously I was very upset, etc. But there was no reason to, to make these accusations. And Levitov would say that, no, wait a second, there were some wires found in the toilets, etc. So how did you feel, right? And Kramnik said, yeah, obviously I was super upset. And Danya picked this up and he said, this is what do you think I'm feeling right now? But unfortunately, I can't find it. I had a timestamp written it down at some point. Again, yeah, I do keep notes. I obviously do keep notes because they said so many things that it was really tough. It's really tough to keep up with what was said, right? And that's why I decided to make this stream to talk about this, what happened yesterday. Also insert a bit my opinion. Again, I have never really hidden that I am supporting Danya from the very beginning, and I have expressed this also in a previous stream. I have written a lengthy explanation of this bishop c8 maneuver. By the way, I found a video, in case we don't have anything better to do, then this is discussed in the Kramnik's YouTube video, exposing private Danya, part 2. And starting from something like 36 minutes or so, he talks about this bishop c8. And Danya apparently had made a stream, and he cited my references I had posted on Reddit. So I posted like 5 examples. I said that this bishop c8 maneuver is not really that of a unique example. And Kramnik, he addressed this. He said, when he said about me, he said, oh yeah, that's the guy who played the World Championship match against Carlsen. Right. I found that to be quite nice sarcasm. But I mean, he didn't really address the logic of bishop c8, right? And I mean, okay, I could play it out if we have nothing better to do, but I still believe that it's a sensible move. There's another video I would like to play back now. It's a sensible move. And I think also it was, I don't know what was the wording that Kramnik used for those experts. Like, I'm not gonna, of course, argue that I'm a complete nobody compared to some of the best players in the world, like Jan Nepomniachtchi, like Anish Giri. I know they're world-class players, and I'm only 2600, so what do I know, right? But actually, I think I know something. I know some things about the Leningrad, because I have played it myself in about 1000 games, both over the board and online. And I found like 5 examples in my own games, and that's why I found this entire argument to be quite ridiculous, to be honest, right? Because bishop c8 is like a completely normal move, and maybe we're gonna play it out a bit later. But Kramnik's perspective was like, I'm the world champion, we are the world championship sporting team, so we know better. Okay, fine, I don't argue about it. Apparently, I don't understand it so well, and it could be, but I'm just telling from my perspective, right? I thought that this bishop c8, I'm gonna put it maybe later on the screen, is that fine, you got it. Maybe I don't understand it. I thought I understand it, but maybe I don't understand it. Yeah, probably some people are not gonna like what I just said. Fine by me, but in case in case you didn't watch one of my previous streams, I already said everything about that. That's the least I can do, to say something that this kind of behavior is unacceptable. And I do think that Kramnik could do so much more. And by the way, which brings up the question, what could he do? What could he do? I think that if you're a former world champion, you have a great influence. And what he could do, this is my opinion, he could try to get FIDE, chess.com, Chess, all the online sites on the same table, so that we talk about some unified rules or standards. How do we address cheaters? For example, we could at least have a debate that it's a problem that maybe starts online and it affects over-the-board chess as well. So that it's not like FIDE says, this is not our problem, it's played online, and Chattergram says, FIDE problems don't concern us, so we are online platforms. So they would come together, and Kramnik could be the guy who brings them together as the former world champion. Now, this is what I would totally sign completely. I would totally support him. That this is not only Chess.com's problem or FIDE's problem. And at the moment, they're like two separate camps. So there needs to be some kind of a middle ground, and Kramnik could be the facilitator as the fair play advocate. And this would be a fantastic role for him, no? Like they could discuss, for example, some possibilities that if you're cheating over the board, what kind of consequences you have for over the board. But inevitably, of course, it's going to go back to the discussion. You have to prove. How do you prove cheating online? Or at least something, but not this. Not posting tweets insinuating that this or that guy is playing really interesting. I mean, it's bullying. So that's why I'm really hoping that all of this is so ugly, but it's gonna have something positive out of this. And I as a human being, I do feel for Vladimir, and I feel that he is upset, but he kind of caused this. So I just hope that he looks in the mirror, he sees that he's made mistakes, and he makes the right conclusions, and not again continue posting more videos. Because that's the impression I'm getting right now from the Twitter, that there's going to be more videos, more truth is going to come out.